make sure that everything is working, that my mic is working, that I'm in the right group. And I am so excited to be here. I'm going to just take a moment before I get started, before I dive in about your wealth identity. And I would love, love, love for you to say hello. It looks like some of you are already on. And give me just a moment. How's everyone doing? Okay, I'm in the right group. It's so good to be here. I feel like it's been a while since I have done a live. I was just doing a story right now on Instagram, inviting people over to check out this live. And yeah, so let me make sure that, well, what happened? Okay, here we are. That way I can see the comments, because sometimes on my laptop, when I'm doing a live, I don't see what the comments are. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So like I can see there's one comment, but it doesn't actually tell me what it is. All right, we've got a few people on. Say hello, hello. I would love to know it's like almost March already. The time is flying by. And this year, 2025, has been a very exciting year for me. Lots of things have been shifting, and I'm not going to talk about all of it on this live, but I am very, very excited about where things are going. And so it's almost March, and Scott and I are going to be going to Mexico next week. And I can't wait. We're going to Nuevo Vallarta, which is right outside of Puerto Vallarta. It'll be our second time this year that we're going to this particular location and town. And my younger sister is going to be joining me. She's going to be coming and hanging out with her boyfriend. And so it's going to be so much fun. We're really looking forward to it. We'll get started here in just a moment, everyone. Hello, hello. Yeah, I feel I'm on fire in 2025. I don't know if anybody else is on fire too, I don't know if you can feel the like incredible energy that is happening, not only for me, but just for so many people around me. It's just been really fun and exciting to see. And I'm excited to talk to everyone about your wealth identity, because this is something that I did not understand when I first started my work on changing my relationship with money. And so this is an important topic, and it's one that will absolutely shift so much for you when you understand what's really happening. So I'm going to give it just a second longer to dive in. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hello, Angie. Oh my goodness, Angie. I need to send you a message. I thought I did that yesterday, but maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Anyways, so yeah, we're going to talk about wealth identity, and I'm excited. Hi, Tracy. Oh, Tracy, how are you doing? What's been going on for you? It's been a while since I've seen you. So I'm going to be answering a few of your money questions at the end of today's live. So you can start putting them in the chat comments if you want. You can start putting them in the comments, and then I'll just scroll back and scroll through and answer questions. Yeah. So wealth identity. So before I kick off fully, I would love to know, and if you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, share with me what you believe your biggest block is with creating more wealth in your life. I would love to know. Tammy. Oh, Tammy Brock. So good to see you. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it when I do these lives and I see people hanging out. And Victoria's here. Yay. So yeah, Your biggest block when it comes to wealth. And some of you might be going, well, it's this, and where do I start? And I just want you to like, if you can, if you're not driving, being able to close your eyes to start to tune in to your body and asking yourself, what do I believe is my biggest block when it comes to creating more wealth in my life? So over the last 3 years, I have developed a new relationship with my body because my body was always communicating with me. I just didn't understand what it was communicating. Number one, I didn't really understand the little flurries in my stomach or the anxiety that I would feel. And so, one of the things that I love the most is when you come into my world, I'm always asking you to tune into your body because your body has all the answers. Your body will tell you everything. It's just learning to tune into it. Okay, so let's see. All right. Yeah, so it's me, my idea of what I deserved and what I was worthy of and how much I loved myself. Beautiful. Hi, Teresa. Beautiful. Yeah, and so this is a big these are big factors, which is what I deserved, okay? What I was worthy of and how much I loved myself. They all they all there's an interplay that's happening with all three of those components. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started because I want to honor everyone's time. I just wanted to give it a moment to allow people to hop in. And I would love to know just like, where are you tuning in from? Where are you tuning in from? Hi, Shauna. Okay, yes. All right. So, Shauna, going from corporate, where the money just came from a faceless organization, to entrepreneurship and having to sell myself and services to individuals. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So, Shauna, thank you so much for sharing. And this is really a big deal because even the fact that she said faceless organization. So, like, there was really no connection there. She just knew, I mean, for the most part, she just knew she worked for this corporation and they were going to pay her. But as the owner of her business, she is the face of her business. She is the one that is selling herself and putting herself out there. And I know that that's probably there's a lot there that's keeping Shauna from fully embodying her power and her wealth identity. And so Shauna, I'm going to come back to this because I love this. Shauna, Portland. Okay. New Jersey. Oh, Angie, the weather is so beautiful here in Portland too. So she said sunny New Jersey. It's gorgeous outside, everyone. And it's getting lighter and lighter. It's starting to get lighter in the mornings and it's starting to stay lighter for longer, which is really, really great. Okay. So I know that when I was first starting to create my new relationship with wealth, one of the things that I always struggled with was that I felt like money was just slipping through my fingers. Like I had it and it was gone. And I will tell you that it wasn't because I wasn't taking action. I know that there are many of you out there that are taking action. But the problem was that my results weren't matching my effort. They weren't matching the actions that I was taking. And so I was like, well, apparently I have to work harder because clearly I'm not working hard enough because I'm not having the results that I wanted in my 3D reality, in my external world. And and so, it's like I remember like celebrating these wins. I'd have a new client and 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 it was like, but then the panic would creep in because I was like, okay, great. I got this client. That's going to cover this. And I was back in need, back in lack when I hadn't even started with the client yet. So maybe some of you can relate to this. And then I'd have these financial wins, but then I'd panic because I was always wondering, would it last? And so I know that a lot of you here have done all the things. You've done the vision boards, you've done scripting, you've done journaling, you've done the latest manifestation techniques or hacks that are out there. And probably for most of you, your bank account still is not reflecting your effort. And so I know that I remember watching other people succeeding and thinking, what am I missing? Like, what am I missing? Why is it so, hard for me? Like, why is it working for them? And I still don't know what's wrong with me. And so I would push through the resistance. And there's nothing wrong with resistance. All right. The problem that comes with resistance is normal. Resistance comes from stepping outside of your comfort zone. But I was not taking aligned action. That was the problem. I was just taking any kind of action and I was just pushing through, trying to work harder, thinking that the hard work was going to pay off. But deep down inside, and here was the truth, I had fears and doubts. Deep down inside, I really wasn't sure that I was going to be able to create the kind of wealth that I dreamed of. And so, how many of you have done the affirmations? And, I'm worthy of wealth. And then, and this was me, I'd be like, I'm worthy of wealth. And I'd be all super excited. And then I would get a bill would come through my email and I'd be like, bom, bom, bom. It just felt like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm really broke. And that fear and that scarcity would just take over. So one of the first questions I just want to ask you, and this isn't judgment, right? This is awareness. So I don't want you to judge yourself. I just want you to become aware of how are you, number one, showing up in your day-to-day life? And is your abundance conditional? Is your abundance conditional? So when your 3D reality hits or circumstances hit or your bank account doesn't reflect as much money as you would want, is that when you revert back to lack or scarcity? And this was one of the biggest game changers, honestly, for me, because my love for myself was conditional. So of course, my abundant state was also conditional. I just couldn't see it at the time. So I want to invite every single one of you to think about whether your abundance is conditional, meaning it's, when you have the abundance, it's good, or when you're telling yourself that you're abundant is good, but then that bill comes in or whatever, that unexpected expense, and then you just drop right back down. So we're having awarenesses. And I remember I would say, all right, universe, I'm open to receiving. Who says that? I know some of you watching this are saying that too. Like you say, I'm open to receiving. But what I didn't know, and Shauna, I want you to think about this, and for anybody else, what I didn't know is that an opportunity would, arise for me. And then what I did was, I remember second guessing. I'd be like, I don't know if that's my audience. Or I would just be like, I don't know if, I would just make up whatever. It doesn't even matter what it was. But I would self-sabotage. Although if you had said that to me at the time, I don't think that I would have been able to see it. So are you open to receiving, but then you're self-sabotaging? Who can relate so far? Hi, Anna. Is this making sense? I laugh. Everybody knows I laugh. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at our brains. I'm laughing at our subconscious mind. It's like it's just so fascinating to me how we can protect ourselves in so many different ways because we don't want to be hurt. Because what if you let yourself dream completely, but you're really afraid? You're afraid it won't happen. You're afraid that if it does happen, you could lose it all. How will you sustain it? So I remember like pushing harder and harder, trying to like figure out all these different strategies. What's the right strategy? What's the thing that's going to, you know, uh, skyrocket me? And then I would end up in the same place. I was struggling still to break through, to live, to pay expenses. So let me just check the chat here for the comments. All right. I can relate. So I used to feel like I had this invisible block. And for some of you that are on this live, this will not be new to you, what I'm teaching. It might be a beautiful reminder for you, just like the abundance, is it conditional or unconditional? Are you showing up in the energy of your dream, of what you desire? Or are you showing up in the energy of anxiety or not enoughness, which is all lack and scarcity? And again, these are just reminders. But most people that I work with or that come into my world that are new don't really understand that their brain and their nervous system are actually fighting against the wealth. All right. And I just want to take a moment. I just looked down at my notes here and I realized I didn't even introduce myself. So I'm going to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm Mary Lou Rodriguez, and thank you all for being here on this live. And for those of you who watch the replay, definitely comment and go through this live, even if it's a replay, as if you are participating full out, because I believe, you will have lots of awarenesses and understandings about and clarity. And so I am the CEO of a thriving personal growth and expansion company. I am living my best effing life. I am the creator of the Neuro Accelerated Method. I've worked with thousands of people now across the globe. I've worked with all different types of people. I've worked with amazing people just like you. I've worked with celebrities. I've worked with famous comedians. I've worked with high-level CEOs. I've worked with multimillionaires and visionaries and healers and change makers. And I would love to know in the comments, are you a change maker? Are you a healer? Like, tell me what you do in the world. Yes. Just reading the comment here. Beautiful Victoria. She's sharing that her health is her wealth. That's right. That's right. Beautiful. Love it. Coaches. Oh, yay. There's a lot of people on. So my intention for you is that I want you to be able to break through fear, doubt, any kind of financial limitations. My intention and hope for you is that you break through your paradigms, that you break through your conditioning, that you get to create the rules of your life. And so I love to teach, success principles that are rooted in neuroscience, in psychology, in somatics, in spiritual laws. And my job now, and this is what I understand, and it's been definitely I've grown because Originally, I thought, I'm a hypnotherapist, I'm a hypnotist. But the truth is, what I help people do is I help them to integrate the mind and the body, to have mind and body alignment, to learn to regulate your nervous system. We do the subconscious rewiring, and I should say, it's so that you can live your best effing life, your most unstoppable life. And whether that's health, like Victoria, whether that's wealth or happiness or love, whatever that is, my desire is that you have that. And so many of you know that I have a membership called the Rewired membership. Many of you know, and if you're new to me, I have a 10-week program called Unstoppable You Now. And it's designed to accelerate success, to increase your confidence, and to help you build a 6- and 7-figure business or career. Okay, so I want to just dive into the shift that changed everything for me. So most people think that wealth is all about strategy. And I started to talk about that, and then I paused to introduce myself. But is that what you think? Do you think that wealth is about strategy? Now, I'll pause here. I love it. I'm a healer. I'm a healer. Yes, I attract the most amazing people ever. So there is a component, of course, to strategy. But at the very beginning, when we are learning about our blocks and our beliefs and our patterns, when it comes to wealth, it really starts with who you believe you are. Because I want you to know that if your identity isn't aligned with wealth, no amount of work, no amount of strategy is going to ever make you rich. Does that make sense? If your identity isn't aligned with wealth, no amount of hard work, no amount of strategy is ever going to make you rich. And this is what I was up against. It didn't matter what I did. What mattered is how I what I believed about money and what I believed about myself, which was what Angie was talking about when she had shared her blocks. And so I worked harder than anybody I knew. I was constantly chasing clients. I was constantly seeking, more income, more opportunities. And so I know for a fact that had there been $1 million strategy right in front of me, number one, I probably wouldn't have seen it. And number two, it wouldn't have been worth $1 million because there was nothing that was going to, what's the best way to say this? That it was all about me. All right. So even if a strategy had been put in front of me, it wasn't going to be worth $1 million. And who here self-sabotages? All right. And that means either inaction in creating more wealth, or you self-sabotage with the actual wealth. And you don't have to answer or comment, but I just want you to begin to think, what's your stories? What are your actions? This is all identity. So I didn't actually have a strategy problem. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I didn't have a strategy problem. I had an identity problem. And the moment that I began to shift my identity, everything outside of me started to change. And so you might want to take notes, and if not, you can just rewatch this live. But many of you know, and if you don't know, your brain isn't designed to make you rich. It's designed to keep you safe. And wealth, expansion, success, that just feels like uncertainty to your brain and to your nervous system. So when you start making the big moves, your brain freaks out. And then it will pull you back into what's familiar. And so that's why people make the same money year after year. That's why people keep hitting the same income ceilings. That's why people self-sabotage right when things start to go well. And so a couple examples that I was thinking about before I did this live is how many of you have started making money and then unexpectedly expenses pop up? And have you ever felt like a rush of excitement over a really big opportunity, but then talked yourself out of it? That was me. And I remember when I turned down doing a conference, somebody invited me to partner with them. Have you ever, and this was a long time ago, I wanted to show up in the conference, but I sure did not want to lead it. That was way too much. But another example is, have you ever found yourself overthinking and hesitating and procrastinating when it was time to take action? And so that is your wealth identity that's keeping you in your known. And your subconscious is always going to pull you back to what feels normal until you rewire it. And I will tell you, awareness, having the awareness is beautiful, but awarenesses around what your limiting beliefs are, awarenesses around what your patterns are, or your actions, or your self-sabotage, or your procrastination, or your imposter syndrome, whatever it is for you, awarenesses will not rewire your brain and your nervous system. Awarenesses will not change your life or your relationship with wealth. You all know that. And so awarenesses are beautiful, but you have to take another step. So I want you all to think about these questions when I ask you the questions that I'm about to ask you, because I want you to be able to answer honestly. And so if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, I definitely want you to do that. If you're driving, don't do that. But one of the questions I wanted to ask is, do you see yourself as someone who naturally attracts money? Do you see yourself as someone who naturally attracts money? And if you want to answer in the chat, beautiful. If you don't, that's fine. Just keeping your eyes closed. Do you feel confident handling large sums of money? Do you feel safe handling large sums of money? Or does it feel overwhelming? And when unexpected bills show up, do you immediately panic? Or do you just trust yourself that you're going to figure it out? And if you have your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. What I find is that when I'm working with people, whether it's in a group program or one-to-one or just doing Q&A like this, or lives like this, and I'll answer some questions at the end. But what I find is that people will have money. Like, one of the things I see a lot is there'll be money that comes in, and then you immediately start to stress about, you immediately start to stress that it's going to disappear. Or that is a classic one. I've got money coming in, but I'm stressing Mary Lou about where the next paycheck is going to come from, or whatever it is. And I also find that people who don't have the best relationship with money don't actually look at their bank account very often. And when they do look at their bank account, it just feels really scary, overwhelming, depressing, frustrating, disappointing, whatever the word is for you. And the other big thing that I see with money is that when people want to create more or have more money, what that means, and this is really common, but it means more responsibility. It means more stress. It means more taxes. It means more problems. So what do you make money mean? And I want you just to pause and really think about this. because I know people love to go, it means freedom, it means freedom. And it can mean that for sure. But what about underneath that? And so, just another question to get you thinking, because your wealth identity is how you show up every day in your life. And your wealth identity, because you're never separate from it, it's part of who you are automatically. Your wealth identity shapes your financial reality every single day, whether you realize it or not. And so, if your subconscious sees wealth as unsafe, or it will only let you have a certain amount, your subconscious is not going to allow you to have lots of it, or your subconscious is going to not let you have it at all. And these are our income ceilings that we have, the amount of money that we believe we can receive. And it's crazy to think that we have a limit, but we do. Every single one of us has a limitation on how much money we can receive. And so I just broke through income ceiling. And I will tell you, and I'll talk more about this in the next live, but it has, like, I am feeling freaking free. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, but just going back to you, so just understanding that if you think that lots of money or even money is unsafe, you will push it away. And more than likely, it will be unconsciously. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, this is identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, you are going to create struggle. If you believe that wealth isn't for people like you, that was me. If you believe that, you will block it no matter how much you try. So, how is your wealth identity playing out in your life right now? How is your wealth identity showing up in your life? I'll give it just a second for you all to comment. And most of the time, we're on autopilot. It's happening automatically. And so we don't necessarily understand really how it's showing up, other than, we don't have it. So I want you to think about whether or not, like, what are your habits with money? Like, does money come in and then immediately go out? Does it disappear as fast as it comes in? Because I remember I had a client and she had the biggest week ever. Like, she made $10,000 in 1 week, and we were celebrating. And this was the most money that she'd ever made in a week. And it was such a big deal. And within the 7 days, almost every single dollar she'd spent. And so to me, I'm like, that's a red flag. But she couldn't necessarily see that. Her subconscious mind saw money as something that couldn't stay in her life. And so the second that she got it, she found a way to get rid of it. So again, looking at your money habits, looking at your beliefs with money, and your money habits are based on what you believe is safe, what you believe is not safe. And so I remember when I was first starting to be in the online space, and I was an entrepreneur. I had a brick and mortar office for about a year and a half. And I remember when I was moving into the online space because of COVID, and it was the best thing to ever happen to me for my business. I mean, literally, like, I was so uncomfortable because I didn't even know if I could do Zoom, hypnosis on Zoom. And I just remember there was all these like fears, but I had somebody who was doing something similar to me, and she had been in the online space not very much longer, but she was landing opportunity after opportunity. And I remember her getting really big clients. And I remember her, it seemed as if she was making money effortlessly. And I remember saying, she's lucky. She- She's lucky and I'm not lucky. But now what I understand, and that's not true, by the way, but now that I'm unlucky, but now I understand it's our reticular activating system. It's our RAS. And so your brain literally filters out what it doesn't believe is relevant to you. Okay. So if your wealth identity says, I'm not someone who makes a lot of money, or I feel uncomfortable with sales or marketing, or I don't like it, or whatever it is that you say, I want you to know that, if you don't believe that you're someone who makes a lot of money, your brain is going to ignore the exact opportunities that could make you rich because you won't see it. You will not see the opportunities, because your brain is not focused on the opportunities. Your brain is focused on not having the opportunities. So that's what you see. Does that make sense? It's subtle. So, goals, setting goals. And again, you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but how many of you actually do set monetary goals? And I work with a lot of people who will set a monetary goal, but then they doubt it. They go right to doubt. They say, I want to create this amount, or I'm going to create this amount. And then the next thing that comes out of their mouth is doubt. And I say, yes, you're experiencing doubt, but that's not the problem. It's part of the problem, but that's your wealth identity rejecting anything beyond your current self image. It's rejecting anything beyond your current self identity. So if you don't let yourself imagine making six figures, multi six, or seven figures or beyond, it's probably because your subconscious mind will not let you. Okay, how is everybody feeling? So, reminding you all that our brain isn't designed to make us rich. Our brain is designed to keep us safe. And success and expansion and wealth, that that is uncertainty. And our brain loves certainty. And so whenever there's uncertainty, there's going to be a lot of muck that we feel. Doubt, resistance, I mean, you name it. And so when you start to change, and I talk about this a lot, especially for anybody who joins any of my programs, when you start to change, when you say yes to transformation, your brain freaks the F out because the brain doesn't like change. And the brain, it's like change means that you are going to do something different. And the brain is a predicting machine, and it wants to be able to predict. And so here you are changing. The brain can't predict. The brain's job, the brain and the nervous system are going to pull you back to what's familiar. Because deep down, wealth, and maybe it's how much wealth you want to have in your life, but wealth is unfamiliar. And what's unfamiliar feels unsafe in your body. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope this is landing. So, your wealth identity. I talked about awareness as not being enough. The patterns that you have in your life and the patterns, they will keep repeating and repeating. And that was the thing that was so frustrating for me. It's like it was the same, it was Groundhog's Day, a little bit different circumstances. And so it felt so frustrating. And that's one of the biggest things, feelings that come up for people who start to work with me is that the frustration, the sadness, the belief that things may never change because they haven't been able to change it yet. So I don't hope that things will work out. I focus on believing that they do. And the moment that you begin to step into this version of yourself who can naturally attract success, because I will tell you that my relationship with money is so different now. I believe I'm a money making badass. Everything I do makes money. I make money when I sleep. I make money when I take a shower. I make money when I'm in the hot tub. Now, these are all beliefs that I've worked on wiring in. But the moment that you step into a new version of yourself, you begin to attract success and money because you're magnetic. So, I want to share with everybody that I'm doing a challenge. It's called the Discover the Unstoppable You Now challenge. And it's a 4-day challenge. It's completely free. Each day, now I've grown even since the last time I've done this challenge. I'm going to talk about upper limits, how to break through your upper limits. This is a big one. I'm also going to talk about, is one new concept I added. It'll come to my brain here in just a second. In addition to everything else I'm going to talk about, which is your wealth identity and how to get your brain and your body on board with what you desire, how to make sure that your brain and your nervous system aren't perceiving your dream as a threat. So I'm going to talk about all of these different concepts in the upcoming challenge. And it is March 11th through the 14th, 2 days after I get back from Mexico. And I would love, love, love to invite anybody who is ready to do this work, ready to break free, ready to understand, ready to do something different, ready to attract wealth more naturally, more easily. Because had you told me that when I first started my journey, I would have thrown my shoe at you. I would have rolled my eyes because I didn't even know that was possible, because that was the exact opposite experience that I was having. But it is possible. And so I want to invite you all to join me inside of the Discover the Unstoppable You Now challenge. We'll probably be changing the name in the future to either activation or accelerator. But for now, it's the challenge. I'm even outgrowing challenges, calling them challenges. So I've grown a tremendous amount within the last 6 months. And I'm super excited to be able to share with you some of the most incredible tools that honestly are such a gift for me to be able to teach you. And whether you know me very well or you don't know me at all, the one thing that you will understand when you come to these challenges and you hang out with me is that I am going to give you as much information as I possibly can for free. I don't teach in loops. I'm not just like giving you half-ass information. I want you to have this information. And then, of course, I want you to join me inside of my program, but it's okay if you don't. It's okay if you take the information and you go and thrive and you do what's aligned for you. So, beautiful souls, let's look at some questions. Let me see. Hey, Tammy. Aw, you're up late. Tammy, if it's all right if I say this, Tammy joined, like, I think we did the challenge back in September or October, October maybe. It doesn't matter. Tammy was a part of that challenge. And I think it's okay if I think she would be okay if I said this. She shared how she felt broken, that she was broken, and that challenge was the challenge that started to give her hope. And she joined my program, Unstoppable You Now, and now she's in my Open to Receive portal. But the version of Tammy from then to the version of Tammy now is so absolutely freaking incredible. It's just, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let me look at questions before I forget. Questions. What is one of your biggest takeaways so far? Hi, Maya. What is one of your biggest takeaways so far? I don't see any. Oh, Angie says, I was an expert at self-sabotage, but notice she said was. Good job, Angie. Well, I don't see any questions. This went a little bit longer than I anticipated. Oh, yes, it's September, Tammy. She says, it changed my life. Thank you, Tammy. We're changing the consciousness of this planet together. Aw, Victoria. Aw, thank you. Victoria says, Mary Lou's the real deal. She's heart and brain combined. Okay, I'm definitely curious about our wealth set points and how mine lowered a lot when I started working for myself versus working in corporate. Ready to shift mine back up again. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing, Shauna, is that you're worth every penny. You're worth every dollar. You are worth it. You are smart. You are talented. You offer transformation. You are doing the work to help people. And you deserve to get paid for the value of the transformation that you offer. And so there's stuff underneath. And sometimes, and I'll just say this, and then we can talk more about this during the challenge, because I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to have some more like Q&A opportunities. But one of the things that I see, which I find fascinating, is that people are waiting for the feelings to be gone. Okay? What do I mean? They're waiting for the feeling of resistance to not be there. They're waiting for the feeling of fear to not be there. They're waiting. It's like people are waiting to feel differently before they raise their prices or before they, take on these massive opportunities. So why do you think that that's a trap? Thank you, Angie. She says, out of all the programs I've been in, and there have been many, Mary Lou is the first who actually helped me see what was really stopping me. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. So the problem with waiting for the feelings to not be there is that don't throw your shoes at me, everyone. But and this is why people procrastinate. This is why people self-sabotage. This is why people get into imposter syndrome, whatever it is, and they don't take the action. The only way, and just because you feel resistance doesn't mean that you're not aligned. Okay. That is another big, huge thing. It's not true. Anytime you step outside of your comfort zone and you do something that you've never done before, you will feel afraid. You will feel anxiety. You will feel fear. You will feel resistance. It is natural. It is normal. You are becoming a version of yourself that you've never been. So people are like, oh, well, when I don't feel the fear is when I'm going to take the action. No, you take the action despite the fear. You get regulated first. You regulate your body. You acclimate your body. You teach your body what your new normal feels like, what the new normal is. And there's ways to do this, and we'll talk more about it in the challenge. And then you take the action. And every time you take the action, it gets easier and easier. And so, Shauna, if you wanted to charge a higher price point, it's practice. It is practice, practicing charging, practicing feeling more confident. But the fear just doesn't go away instantly, or the resistance, or whatever it is that you're feeling. And so this is one of the biggest blocks that I see with people. And I'm excited to be able to talk about this more deeply at the challenge, because this is like, this, if you're able to move through this and take the action, even though it feels uncomfortable, even though you might be shaking, even though whatever it is that you're saying to yourself, you will begin to normalize it. It's just a matter of being in the discomfort. And can you be in the discomfort? Because transformation is not easy. It's uncomfortable. There's a lot of discomfort, and that's just part of the process. And so I don't take the resistance personal, or the fears, or anything. Nothing. It's physiological. It's the way we were created. So we'll talk more about this. But yeah, Shauna, I'm super excited because you're ready. You're freaking ready to make the big bucks. Shauna should be 7 figures. That's what I think. If you're not already close to that, I don't know. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I'm not sure where you're at, but you should be at 7 figures. Okay. Everybody, put in the comments your intention for how much you want to create. And please, please, please play. Play here. Play outside of your comfort zone. This is so fun. I love it. So fun. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Tammy says, authentic, heart-led coaching. The free program gave me more value than courses that I had paid for. It was the wake up I needed. I needed space to be held so that my shit would come up. Mary Lou is effortless in her coaching. It's truly beautiful and powerful. Thank you so much, Tammy. Really, really, really. I'm having a hard time reading it because I need some new glasses, but I love you. And it's such an honor to be doing this work with you. All right. Let's see if. Okay, Tammy. 50K months. See, Shauna, you're getting. So I love it. Thank you, Angie, for encouraging Shauna. Yes. 50K months. Love it. Okay, beautiful souls. I'm doing another live March 3rd at 1 o'clock. So put it on your calendar. We're going to talk about overwhelm, because this is another question that I get all the time. Overwhelmed with money, overwhelmed because I'm not making the money, overwhelmed. So we'll be talking about overwhelm, and yeah, I'm all. And what other amazing topic that I can't think of off the top of my head. All right, beautiful unstoppables of the world. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Thank you for hanging out with me. Don't forget to sign up for the challenge. Please share this challenge with people that you know could benefit. Um, we're going to have a blast and you're going to learn a lot. And and yeah, let's do it because you're ready. Okay. All right, beautiful souls. Take care. Bye.